Hey guys, this is TheEnder, and this is going to be set 2 from match D, which is Ssak versus Piano. And this is from the round of 8 of the BCTV Star League Season 1. So, in the upper left position, we are going to have our red Terran, Ssak. And in the bottom left position, we have our yellow Terran, Piano. So, last game was... luckily, it didn't go too long. Of course, TVT has the option to go crazy with length, but we didn't see that. Piano focused on more of a... I mean, he had the aggressive play at the beginning, but then once that didn't entirely work, due to really good defense and proper planning from Ssak, so Piano went to take a fast third, and Ssak was like, no. Then some good micro, pulled the SCVs, and Ssak just won. So Ssak is up 1-0. This is a best of 5. And so yeah, plenty of time to bring it back. So this map is Circuit Breakers. And so yeah. Neither player going crazy just yet. But we'll see. Alright, barracks on the way for Ssak. Actually, no barracks for Piano, and he's probably got about 250 minerals by now. Is Piano going for a 14cc? Well, alright, based on the timing. No, he's just going for a really, really late barracks. I mean, he had like 300 minerals. I don't know. It looks like Piano was going for a 14cc, and then he chickened out at the last minute. I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, you could see his mineral count was just way, way too high. And he hasn't gone for any gas, so he's going for barracks into expansion. So he saw Sakk's build from last game, and he's like, well, okay, if you can hold it off, I can hold it off. So, yeah, so he's sending out his SCV, and there he is dropping down the command center at the 8 o'clock position. So Ssak is scouting. I'm not sure if he's... So he passed through the middle of the map. I don't know if he was looking for proxies or if that is like an efficient scouting pattern. Maybe he just thinks, well, hey, I beat Piano last game. I'm the better player. Maybe I should scout to make sure that Piano's not pulling some cheesy stuff. But alright, so he's going for factory. He's pulled SCVs off of gas, so he's probably going for an expansion after this. So economically, he's going to be behind, and so he'll probably have to go for something aggressive, and we'll see how well Piano can hold it off. I mean, last game that defense by Ssak was pretty good. I mean, of course, he knows the timings better than me. I kind of thought his siege mode would have been in time, but as it turns out, his triple bunker approach works really, really well. But yeah, it's crazy. In a TVT, and he went for a triple bunker defense. But, yeah. Alright, so these players are going to scout each other both last, which is kind of funny. Unless, I was going to say, is Piano going to go for the cross-map scout after he sees that Ssak isn't in the bottom left? Alright, I saw a starport. Was that Sakk's starport? Could you go back, Mr. Observer? I think Ssak went for a starport. Which would be... it's always a good thing to see that when it happens. So Sakk's barracks is arriving in the natural. Alright, so yeah, it's spider mines in a starport. So possibly a vulture drop. Which vulture drop versus a person who... yeah. Vulture drop versus a person who went for a fast expand. They might have a low number of units. Looks like there is a second factory for Piano going down right away. And an armory. So maybe he is suspecting some shenanigans. But on the other hand, I mean, they're all things that you will need, and since you will have the extra resources because you took that expansion, it's probably not a bad idea to get them. Alright, so the barracks is going to mosey on out of there. I don't think he's going to be on fire enough to burn down, which is nice. If you can save the barracks, that's always good, so that you can build more factories when you need to. Because he's only gone because he went for the dropship and the starport. Looks like Ssak is still only on a single factory, and his expansion was later, so he really needs to get some work done with his drop, or he's he's gonna be dead in the water then. Oh, that's a problem. The barracks for Piano just scouted the vultures, scouted the mines. Alright, the dropship's done. I don't know why it's not moving. What's going on? So, I mean, if you go for this really expensive tech, like the second you get it, you need to move out. I mean, literally, the second you get it. Alright, there's a siege tank coming along, too. I don't know if the siege tank intends to... Maybe this is actually like a drop. Like a slow drop, you know, an elevator approach. I don't think it's going to work. I mean, there's 3 tanks in the main, siege mode almost done. Piano smells something fishy. Where's the dropship go? It should be there by now. What? I mean, is Ssak like just super lagging, like all the way? Okay, so there's the vulture drop. 3 vultures in the main. There's already siege tanks, there's already Goliaths. 1 vulture goes down. Dropship takes about half damage. And... what's going on? Yeah, so I don't know what was going on here, but it really looks like Ssak just completely botched his one chance to get aggressive. So for the rest of the game, he's going to be pretty severely behind economically. And of course, that economic amount being behind is, you know, it translates into being behind militarily. Must have been a scan there. How else would they have seen that? Yeah. So, let's see what Ssak decides to go for. Is that a third base at the, let's see, that'd be about the 11 o'clock position? It looks sort of like a third base. Now, if he has his own siege mode, and he can siege on the high ground... Oh, no, this is not good. Yes, siege tech wasn't done. Oh, no. So yeah, if he gets 3 tanks on the high ground, and so they get the mischance, then that would have been great for him. You know, he could have held it. But as it was, Piano pushed. More significant army. Didn't even have to pull the SCVs. And, this is going to be game? Already? Alright, so the SCVs are being pulled. Vultures are being dropped, but it's too late. There's no tanks to buffer for. So we've just... I mean, fighting mech units versus SCVs is just so terrible. Alright, so here's some reinforcements. It looks like he is going to hold off this wave. What? Okay, so there's another tank under that barracks. You just can't see it. But alright, so we have 4 factories for Piano. And I think 3 factories and a starport for Ssak. But I think he's just so far behind. I mean, look at how many resources he has. He's got 700 minerals plus a ton of gas. I mean, he's trying to rebuild that command center again, but and it looks like he's going for some drop harass. And it's a good thing that he's repairing that tank. Where's the drop? There was a drop. Come on, at the 8 o'clock position. Let's see it. Okay, maybe it's at the 7 o'clock position. Something's happening. Observer doesn't want to show it, though. So once again, we got tanks sieging up from Piano. He's actually got the high ground outside the 3rd base for Ssak. And Ssak does have some tanks out. He does have some Goliaths out. But I mean, he's got an inferior number, and he's on the low ground. This is not looking very good for him. Of course, if they both have vision of each other, you know, it's problematic to run into it, or to walk into it. And if Piano's unable to push in, he can't just sit there for too long, because otherwise the reinforcements from Ssak, since they are going to be closer, will eventually, you know, surround him and take him out more effectively. Ssak is doing a good job with his vultures, trying to slow down the reinforcements, or at least get a view of their positioning. Oh, but the tanks pulled back from the high ground. They actually go straight for the natural. And there's... Ssak is completely out of position. Piano's got his entire army sieging the natural. And here, you know, Ssak is just positioned to guard the third. He's really not doing so good with the vision in this game. Bit of a problem for him. So he is the one with the third base, though. So if he can hold it, and it looks like he is holding it for now, then he is in the better position. So Piano's moving back up to the high ground. I'm not sure quite why. Sending in plenty of reinforcements, getting a starport of his own. It looks like there's a spider mine at Piano's third base, and so he had to land it like off-center. That's what it looks like, but there's no SCVs mining there, so it's also okay. Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, you can't even land the CC. Oh well. So, big army for Piano. Big army outside the Sak's third. And there's already 5 tanks sieged up, but they've got the low ground. So they're wasting their shots firing on Goliaths right now, and oh man, all the tanks are going down so fast. I think that was really just a problem of not having the vision, not being able to pull his units in time. So now, as far as army size, once again, Ssak is really, really far behind. Supply-wise, it is 110. Ooh, 110 to 91. Ooh, so Ssak is going to change it up. He's getting erased. I don't know if they have Cloak yet. And we saw before that the it looked like the Goliaths were the ones taking the shots for the tanks on the high ground. So he might have bled out all his Goliaths. If he can establish a contain here with this tank line, and then just come in with Wraiths and clean up all those tanks on the high ground, that could be a major win for him. But if he gets sandwiched by reinforcements plus the retreating troops from here... Oh, and there's still plenty of Goliaths. Way too many Goliaths. Yeah, so Ssak, I don't know what he's going to do. He doesn't have a third base. Piano does. He's got an army pretty much close enough to siege his third base if he ever decides to take it. The only thing he has going for him is he has this random, like super random contain that could get sandwiched really easily. And he's going for Mass Vulture, which it's just so late to be going Mass Vulture. That's more of an early game thing. And the Vultures are good when there's enough of them that you can just overwhelm small groups of tanks, plant mines everywhere, and have the mines kill the tanks rather than the Vultures. But alright, here comes the surprise Wraiths. There's about 5 of them. And they immediately show their hand by attacking an engineering bay, which is not the brightest of things to do. I mean, if you're going to have them being there for surprise, I mean, don't just attack random floating buildings that are super cheap. And there's still another building. I think it's just another barracks. Yeah, there's right on his like rally point. So if there's one thing this game that Piano's done well, he's pretty much prevented vision for Ssak and kept his own vision really, really well. Whereas Ssak has been doing more of a... I mean, he's been doing pretty good control. He's been saying, oh, this is a big fight, I need to pull SCVs, and he's done it at the right time. Oh, here it is! The tanks are coming home. There's going to be a sandwich attack on this contain. Alright, here it is. Piano's pulling SCVs. He's attacking from both the top and the bottom, north and south. And if he can break through this, then he's going to have a huge army advantage, because he already had the army advantage. The only thing Ssak was just preventing reinforcements. But yeah, it looks like he's being cleaned up. There's 2 hero tanks on the east side, but even they're getting taken out. I don't know where the Wraiths went. Alright, so there's the Wraiths. The Wraiths have Cloak. There's only a single Goliath, but he's not attacking with them. You need to attack. Oh no, reinforcement Goliaths are coming in. Alright, so supply 100 to 100 to a whole lot less. Alright, so Piano's just A-moving now. He's unsieged all his tanks. He's gonna... either kill or prevent lift, or sorry, force lift on the third base for Ssak. He's going to lose his SCVs that are there too. Looks like he's trying to expand to the 12 o'clock position, but Ssak is just really not doing that great. I don't know why, but he's super mineral heavy. Even after making all those wraiths. Sorry, after all those vultures. Maybe it's because he went for the wraiths that he's so mineral heavy. But yeah, so what just happened? SCVs got pulled. I get maybe they're just transferring to the 6 o'clock base so they can get gas there. Because gas is more important for a TBT. We have 9 wraiths, full health wraiths, but he really needs to do like a ton of damage with these wraiths. And there's a missile turret. Of course, wraiths don't do very good versus missile turrets. So if there is one thing that you can do with wraiths, I mean, all air units have that stackability, which is really, really useful. So if you can get up to like the really late game, that command center looks like it's way too far from the gas. I think it could be a hex up. What? Oh, we got Valkyries! Yeah, nice. Nice. So Ssak is hanging in there, but he's at least 20 supply behind. He's a base behind, although he's trying to build that base to get up to 4, so we'll be on even ground. And technically, Piano's not mining too heavily from his mineral only. So Ssak still is in it. It's just it seems like he's lost every fight. You know, he's failed every harass this game. But yeah, so wraiths, because they are air units and they can just stack so well. If you get to a late enough stage in the game, it suddenly can all of a sudden become cost effective for wraiths to do things like, you know, attack through Goliaths and missile turrets, and it's just because they're so maneuverable. You can get all of your wraiths in the battle at once, and so you can have all your wraiths firing at once, which makes them suddenly more effective than the Goliaths, where you know you got 2/3 of them just trying to run to get to the battle, and only 1/3 of them firing. But of course that whole argument falls apart when you've got Valkyries on the field which do splash damage, which if you've ever used any type of splash damage unit versus, you know, mutas or wraiths, and I say that because mutas and wraiths are actually surprisingly similar air units. I mean, they both have 120 HP, muta does 9 damage, wraith does 8. They're very, very, very similar. You know, both high-speed paper airplane type, you know, they die so fast. But yeah, if you use Valkyries against them, if you use Corsairs against them, they just die instantly. So the armory has been selected here, and we can see that Piano only has +1 attack for his mech units. Of course, that +2 attack is the magic upgrade that allows tanks to 2-shot enemy tanks, which is super, super useful. But it looks like we have a major... Whoa! Observer going nuts here. Major offensive. Oh, and there's... The Valkyries are coming in and trying to force away the Wraiths. It looks like there was 4 Valkyries, plus there's Goliaths, plus there's Wraiths. And it looks like... I mean, that's enough Valkyries to one-shot any number of Wraiths. Yeah, and then we see it. It's... The battle's over. The Wraiths are all dead. And Ssak is going to GG. Alright, so I will see you guys in game number 3. Score is currently tied 1-1. Well, not in favor of anyone.